South African Police Service data shows that there are at least 27 protests in the country every day. However, one organization believes the number could be even higher and says this right holds deep historical significance for many in post-Apartheid South Africa. The Constitution is clear: the right to protest must not infringe on the rights of others. But what happens when it does? Malungelo Booi finds out.
This book is often described as the supreme law of the Republic. This is where South Africa's legal foundation is laid out, and it's also a guide to the human rights and responsibilities of its citizens. South Africans enjoy a range of freedoms, including the right to assembly, demonstrate, and picket. But the Constitution makes it clear these rights must take into account the rights of others. In a country with a complex and painful history, that balance isn't always upheld. In 2021, residents of Orlando took to the streets, protesting over ongoing struggles with electricity supply. A bus station was vandalized, and 5 years later, this is all that remains of the infrastructure.
They did damage the infrastructure of Area station. Banka dintho ka mo hare di tsipi tse di leng ka fale, banka le generators tse lo horne di sebetsa tse ha ile motlakase ha o yo ka fale. And then after that ba ile banka le metšhininyana e lo horne re avaya nentse e sebedisa le di lights.
The impact has been an infringement of the freedom of movement for those who would normally rely on this station.
People are getting mugged, people are getting killed, and then batsama long distance ho ya ko di station tse ding tsa re avaya, and then ba tloha hoseng ba bang ba tloha ka bo 4, and then that time di patrollers le tsona o krele ho di katile some ko plekeng tse ding ba e hokela ba le bang, and then they are getting mugged, killed, ba bankela di ntho tsa bona, di chelete di phone.
Brenda Dami is a local ward councillor and believes that many people who embark on protests fail to grasp that this right comes with a responsibility.
You can't be striking for electricity, then destroy something else. This is millions of money, and this is a mode of transport for a Ravaya station for everybody. So you can't be destroying your infrastructure.
Do you think people understand that there are limitations? The right to strike has got limitations?
I think they do and they don't. Because it is your right to strike. It is a democratic right. But even if you strike, it's your right. You can't be destroying something else. So your right goes with a responsibility. Because immediately after you destroy this, immediately after they destroy this, a day after electricity came back, and this can stand here for how many years now? Because the government doesn't have funds. It doesn't mean in the fiscus of government there are funds that is just there for something to repair.
NGO Right to Protest says while police record 27 protests daily, this number is likely to be higher as not all protest actions are registered by police officers.
South Africans fully believe in exercising their right to protest. It's a right that is enshrined in the Constitution, and it's a right that has been protected by the law, given judiciaries that have also stated that spontaneous protest is protected under our Constitution. So it's a right in which carries a lot of history, carries a lot of weight, and I do believe people are more connected to the right to protest than they are with any other right in South Africa because of the expression that it gives people, no matter what race, color, gender you are. But it really is a right that many people in South Africa resonate with and believe they can use to show their dissent in the country.
Jingila says in many instances, communities take part in a protest as a last resort.
I completely understand what the destroying of infrastructure does to communities. But what then?
It impedes on other rights there.
But what happens then when government impedes the right to life? of communities when they don't deliver water on time, when it goes 100 days without electricity. There's a lot of, I think this argument is more complex than what we think. And it is very important for us to sit down and hear both sides, because communities engage before they even go to the streets. They engage their councillors, they engage the legislators in their provinces, they engage, their mayors. And when mayors and all these political actors who've been voted for by communities and placed into office do not respond, how then do we deal with those issues? If politicians who also do corruptions are not held accountable, no one is being charged for letting communities die without water, die without medication. When service delivery is not fully in its load that it needs to be in communities, what then? So do we now compromise the right to protest over other rights?
While the right to protest is an integral part of South Africa's democracy, it's worth remembering that between 2018 and 2019, State Insurer Sasria revealed that it received claims exceeding 1.7 billion rand as a result of service delivery protests across the country. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Malungelo Booi in Soweto.